let's take a look at the West and look at the playoff picture. As of right now, the Avalanche, as we mentioned, the top team in the Central, trailing them, the Stars and the Jets. The Jets do have the 2 games in hand. The Canucks, they've been the top dog out West for quite some time. 71 points, maybe the most surprising story in the NHL this year. Golden Knights behind them, but there's a sizable gap. The Oilers, they've clawed their way back in. That is amazing. They were bottom, and now they're here. Kings and Blues, if the playoffs started today, those 2 teams are in as well. Let's start with the Winnipeg Jets. Like we said, they've got 2 games in hand. They're 2 points back of first place. They also made an acquisition over the trade deadline, not the trade deadline, the All-Star break, bringing in Sean Monahan from Montreal. How does he impact that lineup? How does he make this team better?
Well, I think, we talked to Rick Bowness. He's one of those guys we saw in the hallway there at the All-Star weekend, and he's just over the moon about getting Sean Monahan. He's somebody that can help win faceoffs. He's a veteran guy. He's low maintenance. He can play in different situations for you, and he's kind of fits into that 2C center spot, right, Bob? I mean, and when you do that, you slide one guy back to where he's more effective. Scheifele is obviously your number 1 center. And all of a sudden, the Winnipeg Jets have already had a great season. I mean, they're getting great play from their goaltender. They've been a really hard team to beat night after night after night after night.
And they didn't have that guy, 81, for much of the first half.
Listen, we're going to get Connor and Scheifele haven't even played together since early December. Both of them had different injuries. But you can see Scheifele's coming back. I mean, I like Bob. Scheifele, Monahan, Lowry down that 1-2-3. Makes that team it gives a lot more flexibility to Rick Bowness and the coaching staff to do other things.
Well, everybody is now slotted in their proper positions. When you bring in a number 2 like that, a guy that's he's been, been tremendous for the Montreal Canadiens on the power play this year, so he's going to be able to help the Winnipeg Jets in that regard. So it gives Bowness and company, they've been through a lot there from some of the issues. Bowness had to take care of his wife.
Yeah, that's right. Health issues.
Yeah. But I think Winnipeg has gone through a transformation, having Scheifele and Hellebuck sign those long-term deals. There's been a lot of coming togetherness, that family bonding stuff that you kind of have to go through some of those trials and tribulations, and they have over the years. And I think it's all coming together here right now. And now Norrisy is a big plus guy, on the backside, because you used to just talk about his offense and him putting up the numbers. Now it's his plus minus you look at it, and it just jumps out at you. It's so big. But that's what happens when you're on a winning team. Everybody looks pretty good, and they look good right now.
And you know what I like too about Monahan, JMO, is that it's a little thing, but he's a left shot center that can win faceoffs. Yeah. Scheifele's a right shot center. So now you have a little bit of flexibility there. Then Lowry's a left shot center. I mean, it gives you that other piece to the puzzle. So I just think it's a nice fit.
That's great. That's good.
All right. How about the Avs, the top team in the Central Division right now? You talk about winning. They win it all a couple of years ago. Nathan MacKinnon's having himself an unbelievable season. Cale Makar is doing what he does best. Georgiev, we just talked about him at the All-Star game. The question is, does this team have enough depth after those core players? What do you guys think about the Avs and maybe being one of the powerhouse teams out West?
I love the Avs. I mean, I think they would be my choice. They weren't my choice. I do think they need a little extra. I do think they need to add.
How about an Adam Henrique?
An Adam Henrique would be just lovely. Maybe in a defenseman as well. But I think they're a team that we'll see if their captain comes back. I don't know. We're just going to wait and see who comes back into their lineup comes playoff time. But I think ultimately you're looking at a hockey team that knows how to win. That is, you talked about earlier, they're relying on one goaltender. So you want to insulate a guy like that, put up some points here early. But listen, you got Nate MacKinnon. He's got points in 32 of the last 33 games. I mean, just saw him in the All-Star game.
How about that backhand?
How good is he?
How about that little flip backhand?
It was like a half-speed backhand something.
Yeah.
What was that? I've never seen that move.
Yeah.
It was so soft but so quick. It was unbelievable.
And just in a perfect spot,
yeah,
too.
It was great.
Like the goalie couldn't react. It was like right by the shoulder ear area.
Just like a remote control on it or something.
Yeah, like a butterfly.
Yeah, you know.
Butterfly. There it is. I like it.
It did kind of float. It stung like a bee at the end of the day. But
certainly stung.
I would say, you got to. With the guys coming back, can Landeskog come back? And if he does, can he beat Gabe Landeskog? We don't know. We'll see. Val Nichushkin, he's away from the team now, personal issues, right? Will he come back? When he comes back, can he be the guy that he was earlier? Because if he was unbelievable in the early part of the season. He's a great fit there. He helped them win their Stanley Cup a couple of years ago. And will Chris McFarland go out and add to the goaltending and just bring in someone like, we were talking about different names. It doesn't have to be the biggest of names. They like Georgiev. Georgiev's played very well for them. I think he's someone that likes the spotlight. I'm not worried about Georgiev in terms of his performance. What I'm worrying about is burning him out with too many games and if he were to get injured. So they would look around the market. Maybe the Sharks would part with Mackenzie Blackwood at the trade deadline. He's played pretty well for them this year, and they don't have much in front of Mackenzie Blackwood. Just someone along those lines. There's a lot of guys who are veteran guys that come in, and just to be able to spell Georgiev from time to time, and then if something were to happen, or if he'd underperform, or if he'd get injured, you have another option. Because right now, they just, in my mind, they don't have that.
Yeah, we talked about the importance of winning that division. And not having to play maybe that big matchup. I mean, Colorado, Dallas, Winnipeg.
Yeah, pick your poison.
Ooh. I think it's most important for Winnipeg because the Winnipeg Jets of those three, I think they would benefit the most because Colorado, Dallas in the first round. I mean, that's a hard first round series. Now Winnipeg would still have to win their own series, which isn't always easy. Colorado won the division last year, and guess what? Seattle bumped them right in 7 games. So they'd have to take care of their own business, but they would be much better off in a second-round series against a Avalanche or Stars team that has had to go through the mill maybe
let them beat each other
to win. Just on paper, that's what it looks like.
Ben and Research, Jake Allen, also another
name
out there.
Another good name.
Colorado Avalanche. All right, last but not least, the Pacific Division, and like we said, the Vancouver Canucks. One of the best stories in the NHL this year. What Rick Tocchet has done up there, 71 points. They played one less game than the Golden Knights, who trail them by 7 points right now, and then Edmonton has snuck their way into the top 3. Wow. 59 points. And this team, literally the All-Star break was the only thing that could stop them right now. They've got that 16-game winning streak. They'll go to tie NHL history coming up with that game against the Golden Knights.
I know.
That is going to be a fun one. But let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks because we talked about the Winnipeg Jets bringing in Sean Monahan. They make a big trade. They get Elias Lindholm out there. The rich get richer. What do you make of the Canucks here down the stretch?
Well, I've always kind of liked the Canucks. I've always liked J.T. Miller. I like his attitude even when they weren't winning. And he was taking a lot of flack in the city because he's a gamer and he hates to lose. I love guys that hate to lose. And he's one of those guys. Now, all of a sudden, he's an all-star. Goes to the first all-star game. So you like what they're doing. They like them adding a second centerman there. Everybody gets slotted down. I tell you, Jimmy Rutherford has always been the king of making that early move. He's always the first there to kind of say, hey, that's my man. I'm going to go get him. I want to get him acclimated with the hockey team. I don't want to get him middle of March when he's playing 10 games and then we got to play playoffs. I want him here for 25, 30 games. I want to see how he fits in with the team. I want his family to come in. I want him to feel comfortable when we start the first round of the playoffs. So I really love the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, hard to not like them, and they've been healthy. Everything has gone their way, so we'll see if it continues in that direction.
And like we said, the Oilers, 16-game winning streak. Ouch. They are a force to be reckoned with down the stretch. Wow.